evening, people. Good evening. Oops, sorry. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. This is Spirit Journey, and today is Tuesday, November 15, 2022. And the time is like about 10:13 in the evening. I hope you all are doing well. Boy, my mind is unsettled. Hey, good evening. Let me put on my glasses. I see someone saying hello. Hey, Nubian. Yeah, I'm surprised I'm up too. Yeah, I'm up. Yeah, I was trying to sleep. I had, I had my device on. Oh, okay, thanks. Okay, I'll try to have it closer to my face. Let me see where the mic is. Okay. Okay, so I hope this is better. Let me see. Yes, I hope you can hear me better now. I have it close to my face, the mic. Yeah, my voice might be a little soft right now because I was resting. Yeah, I was watching a video and okay, you gave me better. Great, great. Thanks, Nubian. Yeah, I was watching a video and the woman was right on it. The first time I watched any of her videos, um, woman obviously, spirituality, and she was talking about the system. And a young woman, relatively young, like in early 30s, but I was impressed with her analysis of things and using wisdom to get her point across without really saying too much. And it motivated me to speak because I feel very distracted right now. Very, very distracted. Because I have been thinking about the basketball player out there. I think his name is Kyle or something like that. Not really into, did I say football? I mean basketball player. And yeah, I mean, I spoke on the issue. But that issue is really symbolic about freedoms, the basic freedoms of life, the freedom to exist. And when someone is just taking what is yours, because they have the physical power to do so. They may not have the legal power. And some people may make it up as they go along. And so this video that I was just watching, she had shared that a month ago. She had a dream, a symbolic dream. Yeah, very symbolic. It was very positive. And how that dream represented what's happening today in many melanated peoples out there, in particular the Black race. Very, very symbolic. And how she, in her dream, she had a symbol of the identity of that person. But that symbol of the representation of the victim It's stereotype, but it's a clear, it's a symbol. And yes, it might be a stereotype what this particular group eats, whatever. But its symbolism is also about fruitfulness and abundance, and how someone could take what is yours. And the people that took the person's property, that's symbolic of their identity, was brought as like an exhibit A in court. And the people that took the other person's property, outwardly they were dressed like the system, and they thought, we got it in the bag, we're going to win this case. And, they knew all the lingo and everything. But where they messed up, I think, again, this was the lady's dream. They thought because they dressed the part, looked the part, acted the part. But they did say in the court that they have the person's property. And so if you have somebody's property and you're telling that to the judge, again, some things you get punished by what you say. Because you thought, because everything else. Yeah, if you didn't say that was person's property, you probably would have won the case because of your trickery. But you did say that was that person's property. And yeah, the person in, what do you call it, who the property belonged to, outwardly they were weak, they were fearful, all that negative energy. And you would think that he was going to lose the case. And the judge did listen to them speak. And then the judge replied in the lady's dream that she had about a month ago, give that man back his property. And they didn't expect that. It was an encouraging dream, that the lady's dream, very symbolic. So the lady was recounting the dream that she had a month ago, and tying that dream in with that current situation with that basketball player. He had a property, so to speak. He put something on his social media. The thing was just lying around on his social media account. He didn't do anything with it. He didn't say anything. But yet he's being hounded and embarrassed. They're trying to embarrass him and everything else. And I mean, I don't want to rehash. We all know, many of us know the deal about that situation with the basketball player, because he posted something that offended somebody else. And the anger that I'm feeling, and why I can't really sleep tonight, again, I have my device on, it's playing the video of the lady, and prior to that I was playing something else. I'm edgy right now. I think many of us are edgy right now, edgy in general the past few months. Well, the system wants you edgy because it's feeding off of your negative energy. That's number one. It wants to create an environment that is conducive to its development, not your development. It wants to make things toasty and warm for itself and creating chaos for you. And that's what many of us are feeling: chaos, anger, sadness. And it's interesting because now the weather's getting cold here in New York City for the past few days. Very, very cold. It feels very much like winter. Doesn't even feel like fall anymore. and the trees are like, the leaves are half gone now on the trees. So yeah, we're going through a season right now. It's the fall season, and it's going to be entering into winter next month. A little over a month from now, it's going to be winter. And I'm battling with my thoughts. See, yes, I'm a sensitive individual, and things could be, on the surface okay. But see, as a sensitive, it doesn't matter that, you have food, food in your tummy, one place to live, some money in the bank. It's that other thing, your spirituality, your emotions, your heart. And I think the heart of many are growing cold these days. And I talked about that the hearts of men are growing cold in a past video I did last week. And yeah, I went out today. Yeah, I've been indoors. I think it was close to a week. Maybe it might have been like 5 days. I was indoors much of last week and the weekend. But I went outside for the first time in a long time, it seems. And I went out today. It was my little girl, Lily's birthday. She turned 13. I did it early in the morning, the, happy birthday thing. I saw things that disturbed me, and I want to talk about it. And I think it's all related. And again, I did talk about these things, but again, it's keep popping up. And I can't help but see. I can't help but see chaos ahead. The chaos of what's ahead for society. Yeah, as I entitled this video about Under the Rainbow and about the Aborigine. Yeah, they're two stories, but I think they're all connected because it's the same power that's trying to usurp our natural position. Yeah, both are natural situations that we're not going to talk about. And it's an evil. It's an evil what's going on. It's something, because two things that I saw. When I was walking with my pets at the park today. Yeah, I was actually coming home. I was leaving the park. I was on my way, to exit the park. And in one of the fields, there's this group. Because I left the house at a later time. And so I was able to, when you leave at certain times, different types of people appear at the park. I generally like to do my early morning walk. The early morning walkers, joggers, and all that stuff, we're pretty much a quiet group, do what we came in to do and come back. But if you leave like maybe 2 hours later than usual to get there, you're going to find a different group. And this group includes the people that watch over your children, the kindergarten schools, the pre-K. And when I look at them, I just want to vomit. I know this sounds bad. See, if I would have seen what I saw 30, 40 years ago, I probably wouldn't say anything. But the symbol has changed. And that symbol that's being utilized now, it's screaming out loud and clear in New York City. Manhattan in particular, Manhattan Island in New York City. It's screaming out, and it's a perversion. And like this lady is talking about in her dream, that YouTuber that I was just watching, you know, um, everything's like in reverse. Yeah, yeah, I was watching two videos. Yeah, things are now reversing. Good is bad and bad is good. That yeah, it's to screw you up so they can take over what's yours, what's naturally yours. And I see what's ahead. So I see these um, women. Yeah, they're getting real sophisticated. They have like this microphone by their mouth. It's like those sets, like those performers. It's like a little headset with a microphone, and so they could have their hands free to play the instrument and sing at the same time, and the little ones could hear, and they sing like little songs, right? For these are like 1 year olds to like 2 year olds, 2 3 year olds, really little ones. And you have all these little strollers, baby strollers, and the caretakers and the people that are playing the music. Oh, isn't that cute? Oh, isn't that cute? But they had this fabric, a long strip of fabric, and it was held, lengthwise, and the little kids were to go be under the little rainbow. Oh, is that nice? This little rainbow thing, and they were like whooshing it up in the air, like making it like go up and down while they hold the corners. The adults were holding the four corners, and the little ones underneath the fabric. But this was the rainbow fabric. And these are little tater tots. And they have the music singing. And I started, I was just walking by, hear them singing. And I was getting angry. And yes, I did use some not so nice words under my breath. Yes, I did. I used certain language that I cannot repeat here, but I said what I felt, and because I felt that it was about indoctrination. Indoctrination, people. They are attacking our children. They're attacking our children. Now, I don't have little babies, my little doggies, yes, but I don't have any human babies. And those of you who do have little babies, little ones, are you seeing what they're doing to your kids when you have these nannies and stuff bring their kids to the what do you call it, the little daycare thing? The songs they have, they have like a guy also in there. They have a young man playing his instrument, and they have beautiful little voices. I mean, on that surface, it's innocent, but I know it's not innocent. I know in my spirit it's not innocent. And I'm angry at that because, see, innocence, the evil is they're trying to make evil look innocent. And that's why I'm reacting the way I am, because I can see through their perversions. Their perversions of indoctrination over your kids. Now, they see a lot of people. If you live in New York City, you see the rainbow people in dismay, especially if they're people of color. Now, a lot of those little tater tot children were Caucasian, mostly Caucasian. But still, innocence is innocence. And they're after your kids. And again, when you go outside, in the rainbow community that's growing here in New York City, where I live, the section where I live, it started, the rainbow started with uh, Obama. That's when they really started putting the flags out there, the rainbow. And I said, is this my imagination? But I see all these little rainbow flags. What is this? Well, I definitely know what it is now. But yeah, that's when it really started. And I did talk about it back then. And yeah, it was his second term. That's when I really started seeing it. His second term. And it's the whole strip, this particular area in Manhattan, they have a whole strip of those rainbow flags or things in the rainbow colors. And they're shoving it down our throat. And so now I see they're after your little kids. And they're making it look innocent. It's in steps. See, I think with the rainbow movement, it went in stages. And I see this other group wants to, it's out in the move too. This other religion, the Mormon, I'm just going to say the name Mormons. The Mormons are doing the same tactic too. Again, if you find what I'm saying offensive, then don't listen. I'm just sharing what I see. That group also is doing the same desensitization. Ugh, well, you know what I'm trying to say. Well, getting back to the flag, and I will talk about the Aborigines too. It's all connected. It's all perversion. The flag, the rainbow flag, is slowly but surely obtaining more and more rights. And you can thank Obama for that. He was highly effective with the rainbow people. Why is that? Well, most likely he's a rainbow himself. And it was too cowardice to be honest about it. Okay? Because I don't think it's by accident. You support what you believe in. And that's why it was effective. He wasn't effective as a black leader, because that's not where his identity lies, in my opinion. Okay? And he only was introduced into the black community for him to get credibility in the black community in Chicago, and he was already at the age of 27. And they set him up with his now wife. But it was all part of the game. He was not a true member of the black community. But for politics and politicking, he did what he did to get in, to be voted for. He was only in less than 2 years, and it was talking about running for office. They had him already ready and groomed for that job, to do his nonsense and his leveraging, so that certain laws would be passed to protect. And part of what they wanted to protect was the rights of the rainbow soup people. Now, you have your right of what your orientation is between adults. It is your right to not be discriminated against, to love who you want to love. That is your business. Between adults, it's your business. And I've never said anything growing up in New York City about the alphabet soup and its variety of vegetables, okay? Never said anything. But see, I feel it's important to speak out. Yeah, I'm offended some people here, I see. But yeah, if you find it uncomfortable what I'm talking about, just you don't have to listen. But anyway, those people who want to know the truth, as I perceive it, continue to listen. So it happens in stages, and that like Obama was placed because he had to open up the can of worms that was to be spread out all over the country. This acceptance of a certain mindset that good was bad and bad was good. And the start of that what is natural, they want to make it unnatural for a man and a woman to want to get married. How many men and women, especially in the black community, are married? But then you have men with men, women with women, who are fighting to get married. And now that they want you to think that's natural and normal. See, natural and normal are almost synonymous in this argument. And they permitted it. That was a phase one. So now they have a natural right, they want you to believe, to have that type of union. And everything else will fall under it. And so now, it's spreading. They had this movie that came out with, what's his name now? Wesley Snipes. He Fu Manchu. That Fu Manchu movie, and he and two other guys dressed as drag queens. Now, I saw that with a parent of mine. And back in those days, I think it was in the 90s. I forget. Anybody know when that movie came out? You can tell me what, write down when that movie came out. But it could have been in the 1990s, or early 90s around, or the late 80s. I think it was in the 90s. And I watched it. And I actually enjoyed watching it. Yeah, thank you for giving me the thumbs up, people. I need encouragement too. I just want, to, see, you don't have to agree with what I'm saying. But I want to be heard. And so it's good to know that someone is listening. Okay? And your comments are welcome. We don't have to agree with each other. But I love dialogue with people. I like to answer questions. Again, my channel is not to tear down other people, but to express my feelings and opinion, and to share what life is showing me. And trends. I notice trends. I'm a very sensitive person, and so I pick up things. And I start to see patterns in these changes. And the patterns that I see is going down south. It's not good. So anyway, when things happen, it happens in stages, and they want you to get acclimated with each stage because they know they're going to get opposition. So I remember that movie with Wesley Snipes and these other guys dressed in drag. Now, I thought it was funny. I thought it was very funny. Because what was funny about it was that a strong-looking man, dressing like that was funny. That was the joke. I thought it was made as a joke, how a masculine energy to cloak itself obviously as a female. And I thought that was the joke they were sharing, and we were to laugh along with them. Yeah, they wanted you to laugh because they didn't want you to know that that was part of the agenda. And now, this movement, as in stages, and you have its martyrs. Yeah, 50 years ago, they had their first martyr. Coincidentally, a black dude. Yeah, it was the thing Stonewall. Stonewall, it's a bar in Manhattan. It's a gay bar, gay club, and I forget exactly how it's sparked. But the person that is like the symbol of that, they call it a revolution, a spark of their um, wanting freedom and equality, was actually the death of this black dude. He was an 18-year-old guy, a young black fellow, dark-skinned black fellow, and he died in this skirmish. No surprise that he would die, but they using his death for the movement. See, that's also their game, the alphabet soup people. They see their credibility is nothing unless they have a true victim of history, and that's usually Black America. Just like they use the so-called Black Obama to get what they want. Because see, if it's attached to a black person, the movement, then you can cry racism to be heard. Oh, people got upset. People got upset. Yeah, the numbers keep changing. But anyway, let me go on. So to get credibility, this alphabet soup or this rainbow flag lover, it has to attach itself to something legit, such as the racism against black people, historically black. And again, that Stonewall incident happened about 50 years ago. And so, again, you get the sympathy. So you get your martyr. So he's like the first martyr. And then people are starting to take you more seriously. Then they start putting in the movies. Remember the movie MASH? It was a highly popular show, MASH. And it took place, it was a military movie, during I think it was the Vietnam or Korean War. I forget which one. It could have been Vietnam. And one of the characters in the movie, it was a comedy, one of the characters in the movie was a man in drag. Yeah, he was a Caucasian fellow, I think of Turkish ancestry. And he dressed in women's clothing. Because, see, back in those days, in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, you better not say that you're of the alphabet soup kind, because they will kick you out of the military. And I was in the military too. And before I was in the Navy. And when I had to get to my ship overseas, an incident happened. And it was, in short, the lesbians aboard the ship were threatening this woman. And the captain of the ship heard about it. And the captain announced that they will immediately release, what's the term? To discharge you out of the military, um, and it will not be put a mark against you, but we'll get you out. We're going to get you out, give you the opportunity to just expose yourself, to admit, and we'll just discharge you. And I don't know the number of people that left. That was a weird incident. And so when I came on board, people were telling me what happened. And I met one of the women that they kept this one young lady. She was 17 or 18 years old. And she was the one that she was telling me about what happened. She was of the alphabet soup kind. And said that she was married to a woman. And that they letting her stay on board just a little while longer so she can get back to her wife. And she missed her wife, so that's why she wants to go back home. Okay. And yeah, she shortly left. But she was telling me the whole scope of what was going on and everything. So yeah, it's very serious back then. That was in the 1980s when I was in. And if it's discovered you're of that particular, you can get kicked out. But there were a lot that was still on board that ship. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a spirit. It's not just, see, you like what you like, that's your business. But there's a spirit behind their behavior. You can tell who is who. And when they collectively met up on board the ship in the where we watch television, like the men and women are separate, in their sleeping quarters on the ship. And so where we slept, there was like a lounge, and they took control of that lounge that day. All of them were in that room. I walked in, and I looked around, and something said, "Get the hell out." And yeah, I walked right out. I knew it was not for me. I didn't say anything to anyone. I just looked, and I realized this is something. Now I know what it was. All the people that had that look, they were all there. And it's an aggression spirit when it comes to the women. Yeah, there is a movement to get the women to act reversal. No more embracing their femininity. Now it's the masculine energy that is tearing apart the woman in America. It's very strong, especially within the Black community, in my opinion. And again, I'm not saying these things to be hurtful. I'm just expressing what I see. This is what I am seeing. And you notice the television announcers now. That now is the age. They want you to think it's the age of the Black woman, but it's not. It's her demise. It is her demise. They're reversing everything. And they had this woman. Now I've cut my hair very short before, many times. And there's nothing wrong with a woman having short hair. Some women look absolutely beautiful, but the spirit upon this particular woman that I saw last week, she had a very bizarre shaped head. She was extremely overweight, and she had a fat head, like the blubber. And it just weird. And it was shaven bald, not just short, but bald. And they have her like talk very forcefully. Now you might say, well, what's wrong with talking forcefully? Nothing wrong of being confident and speaking, but you're there because they want you to represent the masculine energy, no longer embracing your femininity. And the men, the Black men where I live, are now wearing dresses, and they're out of their mind. They're in torment. And I think these ladies, even though they got a job now in media, but they don't look happy. They look like angry black women. A lot of them shaving their hair bald, or they have those hair waves. And they're not happy. They're angry because their role is being turned over. That now they have to act like a man to be approved. Act like a man and I'll give you a job. And they're doing the same thing with the men. Act like a woman and we'll give you a job. Or we get you in this nice building to live in with your boyfriend. Right? That's what's happening. Okay, yeah. So again, it's in stages, different stages. So you have the movies to make it funny, or they could get a movie to make you cry for them. And again, they use a black person in that movie. Remember the movie Philadelphia? With Denzel Washington, another black man. Okay? And remember with Denzel, yes, thank you for giving me the thumbs up. Yeah, remember with Denzel. Now, the actual incident of the true character, see, that the movie, the Philadelphia, was based on a true story of a man with who was a lawyer that contacted AIDS, and that person actually was a black person. But in the movie, the AIDS victim was played by a white man, but the lawyer was black. See that again? See, they didn't want to show a black lawyer because then people think, oh, this is a, see again, using the black face, to use the black face would distort it and cover that, make it look like it was a thing about racism when it was a thing about the fear of AIDS, a disease. So they had the character be played by a white person, but just have a black lawyer, and that the lawyer was initially kind of squirmish, right? See again, reversals. And that movie was an essential movie of its time because now, first, to make you laugh about AIDS. Laugh about the alphabet soup, and then to feel sorry for them. And now, once that, it was a very successful movie. And then they started to show performers. And again, it's a lot of black performers. Like, what's his name? Will Smith. Yeah, I love his movies. But what did he do with his children? He and his wife. You think those kids got that way? They, in my opinion, they must have been brainwashed. Something happened to them. You become just like those little kids, those little tater tots with the flag, under the rainbow flag. Indoctrinations. Induct. People be indoctrinated, and I think especially if they're in Hollywood and people go to those parties, don't you think they have their kids in those parties? Or when the parents are at their parties, their kids are somewhere else, and maybe people are violating those little children. It's too coincidental that a lot of the alphabet kids are now members of the black community. Because, see, they're targeting you because they hate you. And they don't want you to love your own. They don't want you to have a natural family. Because now they want the women to be men and the men to be women, but they don't want to pair you together. You notice on television, they don't show the black man and the black woman in very rarely do they show you as a family and with children, in a loving environment. Not now they want to try to trick you and think that you're being accepted if they have you in an interracial relationship. And in particular, they're using the black man and to link him with a white woman or a light-skinned Asian woman. Start noticing that. At least in New York City television, that's what they're showing a lot. So what happened to the black woman? Well, they have her busy working on the news, looking angry and her hair bald. Yet this is also the time of shaming too, the black woman. See, it's a two thing. They want to shame the black woman. So now, when you look in the stores, the retail stores, the clothes stores, now they have what they call plus size models. Now, New York City, people in New York City are big. A lot of us are big, big boned. And I mean, in general, the black community and Afro Latinos have always been heavier. We are the larger of the groups in America in general, statistically speaking. So they have the plus size um, mannequins. They have photos of these giant sized black women. And I mean, beauty is in every size. But see, they're screwing around with your head to traumatize. They know that's not an attractive lady, socially speaking. But they choose to show her because uh, they want to again traumatize and mock you. So yeah, okay, you want equal rights? Okay, Black Lives Matter. So they're gonna have the photos of these heavy set black women, and I feel it's being done to mock us. Um, yeah, so this is the environment now. It's a mocking session. So yeah, you want see that it's like the Civil Rights Act, the Civil Rights Movement of the '50s, and men and women fighting together to social awareness and equality, right? And then they separate us and get us fighting. I know I'm kind of a little over the place, but again, it's in stages. So they make it look like they accept you because now you can sit at a restaurant counter and be served, and you think you made it. And then they put you in ghettos, and then they put drugs in your neighborhood. So it's like, I get you. And then they start making movies and TV shows that shame the black family. So that's what's happened with the Black Lives Matter. It's okay, you fought and did this and that against the system. Okay, I let you win this one battle, but I'm going to win the next battle. I'm going to shame you. Yeah, okay, you want Black Lives Matter? You want more equality? Okay, I'm going to now show you, pictures of you in an advertisement, but I'm going to get a fat cow to show it. I'm going to represent this. I'm going to shame you. Yeah, so they're getting a big laugh out of it. So either way, getting back to the alphabet. So, but see again, they're using the black woman as a tool to implement this new stages of this uh, inclusivity, including the alphabet soup people, but having them in our community. Um, so in our schools, they're having books about these adult relationships between, different dynamics in that home and making it seem normal. And if you speak out, you're a hater. And it's amazing that they have these women push these agendas in the schools. See, again, I feel that, you have a right as an adult to live your life how you want to. But see, you drew the line here when you attack our children. That's my issue. I don't care what adults do behind closed doors. That's none of my business. And I don't want to know what people do, whether they're straight or curly. I don't want to hear it. Some things are meant to be private. And your sexuality is a private affair between you and your partner. But now they want to do the indoctrination. So they create the movies to make you feel uh, sympathy for them. First, you laugh at it, like with the Men in Drag, and then the movie like the Philadelphia, about the AIDS victim. And now, Obama made it legal for them to get married. But that's not enough. They're using a lot of black performers as a gateway into, see, they have black people live in um, high population areas. It's very condensed. And these cities, these mega cities, are targeted for these to set the trends. And they're using black performers because the music that is being played is trendy right now. So they're using that flavor to disseminate the poison. And so that I think that's why it's being used, because it's popular now. Certain types of music, the rap music is now popular amongst white communities. And they're listening to it. And now they have these guys dressed like women, makeup. And so it's spreading the message that it's okay in these cities to dress certain ways, to wear the makeup. They reward you for doing so. But when I saw this morning uh, them using those flags, the rainbow flag, to open up an attack on your children, I said, no, no, no. I became livid. These are small kids. These are like 1 to 3 year olds. And see, they make it seem innocent and happy. So when they associate the rainbow flag, that was that when I was a little person. We sang songs under the rainbow flag. But see, it's an attack. It's a direct attack upon your children. And if you don't know what's going on with your children, I don't know what parent would want their kids under that. It is a direct attack. They are creating books. These adults that are in that lifestyle are already confused, and many of them are on drugs and commit suicide. So why would you want to? What's happening to these adults have nothing to do with making other people accept it. It's what's happening is that they're creating something that was a natural person and making them unnatural in their thinking. And it's raging war with common sense, in my opinion. That's my opinion, what's going on. And I think it's a war over their minds. They could be putting something in um, certain injections that they might be getting. Now with visual, videos, music videos, movies that are glamorizing a lifestyle. It is not a good lifestyle. What about AIDS? AIDS is a real thing. You think because they don't talk about AIDS that it doesn't exist. It exists. And I had to study about that condition, AIDS, HIV, for, in school. Um, AIDS discriminates. Hear that again. AIDS discriminates. That black Americans, black people, get AIDS easier than the white counterpart, even though they might be doing identical sexual practices. You get it at a higher rate. AIDS discriminates. And I think with that guy, that basketball player, Magic Johnson. I think, is that his name, Magic Johnson? Yeah, from the 1980s. The guy, the basketball player, and he was married at the time. They claimed that he tested positive for HIV. And then they had take these so-called medications. Remember, it got him really fat. Question, people. Question I have. Now he's has relations with his wife, right? They had a baby, right? How is it that the wife never got HIV, nor the baby? Not to say that I want them to have it. Why didn't they get it? Well, I'm wondering whether he actually had it. And because he was a high-profile black man, they wanted people to use these drugs for the treatment of HIV. But a lot of the drugs actually caused the death of the participant of those drugs. People died because of the drugs that was to allegedly treat HIV. And so by having Magic Johnson testing positive, and again, we're seeing that these clubs, what do you call it, these ball, these basketball clubs and sports clubs, that they have a special relationship with their so-called owners, and that the life isn't their own, as we see now. We see now that these basketball players and sports people, that they are being controlled. Everything. Their life isn't their own. And the music field also. I was just listening to a friend. I have an acquaintance. She was in the music industry. She is in the music industry. And she told me a story early in her career. They wanted her to, she's a curvy black woman. And a European was over her. Oh, if you work with me, oh, you have to lose this weight, and you have to have liposuction. Your body is too this and that. You gotta make it smaller. And he paid for it too. She's very angry now. She's angry because she feels like she's property. Yeah, it is. It's like they own you. Oh, the point with her. Um, well, she wanted to get married one day. And they fired her when she got married. Hello, people. Hello. Anybody home? They fired her. I mean, that is a lawsuit. She wasn't working in the U.S. But yeah, she was a singer, and she got married, and they didn't like that, and so they fired her. See, ever wonder why some women in certain fields aren't married? They don't want you married. They really, because see, when you get married, then you have to deal with two people. When you get married, you have to deal with that person's spouse. And when they can't control you, they want to get rid of your partner so they can control you. Look at Ye. What did he say recently, just a couple of days ago? That they sacrificed his mother. That's what he said. They sacrificed his mother because the mother was Ye's manager. You get rid of the mother, then you can start managing him. They don't want black people, it seems, to manage their lives. Oprah never married. Why? Again, it's none of my business about her life. But why did she not marry? I mean, now she has a boyfriend, but there was never a marriage. And I can only speculate. They probably didn't want her to get married because they own her, even though they pay her well, but they own her, and so they want to control every aspect of her life. Start noticing the so-called successful black women, and they're often not married. They don't want you married. They don't want you with a partner because they don't want you strong. They want to control your life. That's what I see. That is what I see. Yeah, everything's all related about the rainbow flag. It's about control, and it's about making normal relationships abnormal because now they're changing. It's a new, how to say, dispensation going on. They want to change the old system to a system of perversion-based culture. And so they're using high-profile people that you admire to lead you into the pit. And it begins at birth. It begins with those little children. The basic union is between a man and a woman, or the family. But now they're redefining what is a family. They don't want you to say mom and dad. So they're making this the opposites, a man, a woman, and a woman, a man, to confuse you of normality and the basic foundation your life is. Your basic foundation is your family, where you come out from. And now they're distorting that. And now they're aiming after the children, little children, so they become accustomed to seeing symbols. Why are there symbols? Symbols are visual messages. Symbols are visible messages, meaning behind that object. So at a glance, you are being programmed. The symbol serves as a program. The symbol serves as a program to control what you think and believe. And so they have this symbol of the rainbow. Now, the rainbow is a natural event in the sky. But now they're bringing that symbol of the rainbow to be below the sky. And it's an inversion. It is an inversion. So now it's not up in the sky, now it's down below. And now it's being used as an opposite family. The men are the women and the women are the men. And they're using that symbol to be targeted against your children. So it is to initiate them to think certain lifestyle and physical behaviors are normal, and that they ultimately want access to your children. So that's what makes me angry. They want access to your children. They want to have inappropriate relations with your children and pass laws that your child can say, I have a right to choose my gender, and with that, I have the right to do what I want to do with it. That is their goal. That is their goal. To get access to your little children. And they want to be able to do, by law, to have it legalize these adults to do horrendous things upon your innocent child. This is not a joke. And so when I saw them play the little flag, rainbow flag game today, when I was going home, I was livid. I was livid. Because I know what they're going to do. And it makes me sad because, see, I can't change anything. And I'm angry at the so-called leaders of its day to pass a law that was to open up the gateway of acceptance, and so that the next step is to recruit. They want to recruit you. You notice also that they don't hire you. A lot of these blacks that are of that alphabet soup, they stick together. And they only seem to hire people like themselves. So here you can have a straight person hire them, but then when they come on board, they only bring their own. They do business with their own. And so they are given the protective status, minority status, but they hire their own. They don't hire straight black people. They'll be in relationships with people of other races. So it seems like this lifestyle change, it's like if you're a straight individual and you're in an interracial relationship, that's frowned upon. But you could be of the alphabet soup flag people, rainbow flaggers, and you could be in all these different types of interracial relationships. Somehow that's okay now. Somehow that is okay. But yet they are a protected minority group now. And so whether black, white, yellow, red, they hire their own, regardless of race. So it seems like the new minority group is the alphabet soup. And it's all inclusive of race. They're very well organized. They're very well organized. Yeah, they need your help to get bigger. See, again, they cry to the black community because they want to sound like a victim and that they need your help, black people. See, we're in the same boat issue they're saying, right? And we always fall for it. Stop falling for it. They don't like you, and they're only around you when they want something. Once they use you, they discard you. And that happened to me in the military. See, again, in the 1980s, I was around, yes, I was around certain people. I never bothered them. I never called them names or anything like that. I even tried to help them out. There was a lady in the military, in school, military school. And yes, they didn't like this particular lady. She was bizarre. She looked bizarre and she just odd. But I was in this love and light thing. I was highly naive. And I really wasn't exposed to certain types of people. I really wasn't. But I was into, we're all equal, all that game, And I still believe, want to live like that in my heart. And so she came to me and said, they're bothering me, and I want you, if you could speak on my behalf, that they're bothering me. So I was on this honesty kick back then, this honesty movement. And so, I was just doing my duty and, being interviewed. And yes, they were harassing her. Yes, they were. But they had a reason. There was something evil about her. See, when you have an evil in you, your orientation is not what makes you evil, but she was about evil. Okay? Not everybody who likes their alphabet soup is evil, but some are, and she was. And I didn't want to see it. And so I spoke about, they interviewed me, the officials interviewed me to find out if they are bothering her. I said, well, yeah, and I spoke the truth. And what she wanted, see, people can use truth to do evil. See, I didn't know that her intention was to get transferred so that she can go and hurt people with her agenda. And she had spoke to me, and I didn't believe her. She said she wanted, I'm not going to even say what she said, but I never heard a white person, she was a white female. I never heard a white person or female speak these particular terms to destroy a certain gender of people. And she said it right out in the open, but I didn't believe what I was hearing. And so she wanted to, people could sense when you were about evil. And so her goose was going to be cooked there. And so she wanted the transfer so she could like cloak herself and do what she wanted to do. I didn't know that. I just thought, oh, she just wanted them to leave her alone. That's just all what I thought. Yeah, she got the transfer. And I realized that I was used. And was passing by her room, and she and the other alphabet soup person, and they turned and looked at me with evil in their eyes. Yes, they did. And I realized at that point that I was used to speak on her behalf so she can get the transfer so she can do her purpose somewhere else. And that people where we were probably was on her game. They instinctively knew that she was up to something no good. And they didn't like her. They listened to their common sense, but I didn't, unfortunate, because I was on this love and love everybody's equal. Yeah, they had more common sense than I did. And yeah, I forgot about that story, but yes, that happened to me. That happened to me. And I felt stupid. And it was too late for me, I felt, to go back to the officials and to state what really happened. I was embarrassed and ashamed that I was naive, and I didn't tell them what she was about. I never encountered a person like that before, never. And so you have people. It's a network. Believe me, it's a network. When those two were talking, when I was walking past their room in the military, yeah, they have their secret meetings. They have their secret meetings. Remember, I mentioned they had that secret meeting in the TV lounge, and I didn't understand why everybody had a masculine energy in that room. I knew I didn't belong. I got the hell out of there. Yeah, there are secret meetings that go on when you have people who are about evil. And it's not about just liking someone of the same gender. It is a movement of destruction. It's not about just liking a particular person. It is an agenda to uh, take over a system and to pretend to like you. See, they utilize a black woman, myself, to get what they wanted, which was a white person wanted something, and they used me, my naivety, to get what they wanted, and then they wanted to just, to turn their back on me. They were very, very stealth. So whether it's the alphabet soup, the rainbow flaggers, they having meetings to destroy the family. It's like a virus. And they're attacking the unit, the basic unit of life, the family. And it's so sad. So that happened. Yeah, I experienced a lot of things. And I was always really cool about, you know, to each his own. But see, that's what's happened. See, they relied on you, and especially the black community, because the black community has a lot of energy. And energy could be tapped into. What they're doing, they're tapping into the energy that black people have, the black community have. And when you could manipulate a community of people, um, you can harness the energy, and that's what's being done. And what's being done with the person in the on the basketball team who posted a photo of a movie that came out several years ago. See, they know. See, no, that movie has been out for 4 years now, and it was never an issue, and it's still not an issue of the person who is distributing the movie. You know, Amazon. They're not targeting Amazon, but see, they want to target that black fellow because see, they know that black fellow has attached to him energy that they want to harness, and they want to shame him. See, he represents, it's what he represents. He represents a mass following of other black people. And they're letting society know, hey, we want to do this thing to your community. And we allowed you to make money. And if you don't play by our game, we're going to punish you and humiliate you. And that's what they're doing to him. I feel the humiliation. I feel the anger behind how I interpret what's being done to that man. And that's why also I can't sleep because I see what's going on. I feel it. I feel it very much. And so also, before I forget about the Aborigine, yeah, because I talked about the Under the Rainbow and the Aborigine, and I'm referring to the Australian Aborigine. Yeah, I saw earlier today a very disturbing film. Yeah, I couldn't watch it all. It was a documentary, almost 2 hours long. I just couldn't watch it. Australia is a large, giant island in the Pacific, South Pacific. And the indigenous people are very dark-skinned people, and they resemble a lot of black American, black people. They look like a cross between an African and a South Asian blend. Some look more African, some look South Asian, more South Asian. Um, they have a very unique look. Yeah, Australia is a big place. Um, Very seldom are the indigenous people of that land really discussed. And I guess as a black person in America, you just really hear about what happens to people in the black people of the Americas. But we very rarely hear things about what happened to the indigenous people of Australia. And I'm thinking that they might be okay. You have a lot of interracial blending, and they talk like the rulers of that island. So I'm thinking, okay, because they talk, many of them talk the same, that they must be integrated in that society. Well, this movie exposed what's being done to them, and they're not happy campers. And in the very beginning of the movie, of the documentary, and they showed it on camera, I couldn't watch it anymore. Um, I couldn't believe it. Um, they killed someone at a restaurant. The police killed um, an Aborigine in a restaurant, I think it was, and they were kicking him. And then they were cleaning up the blood from that guy. They said the guy died 4 hours later. And to see the white cops, it was a man and a woman. with such evil. Um, I also heard like a YouTuber uh, had lived there briefly, a black YouTuber. They treated her, she's a black American, and she went to Australia. They treated her well, the whites there, but the whites there do not like Aboriginal people. So even though this YouTuber has dark skin, but she's not an Aborigine of Australia. And so that's a different game. And the YouTuber who's sharing this story felt uncomfortable and does not want to go back to Australia. I've met white Australians, and I find them very friendly, very, very friendly. And it shocked me to see that other half. I don't know why, to the extent the extreme hatred and policies that were used against the native Australian. They openly talked about in history they had a plan to Europeanize the island, Australia, by um, diluting the genetics of the native Australians. And so there were the white men would have children with the Aboriginal women, and the offspring to lose their identity. And they showed in the film, like, after 3 generations of diluting their blood with a European man usually, um, the person, the offspring looks like a European person and completely Europeanized in its culture. And so that was a plan that was being done upon the Aboriginal to dilute their presence on the island genetically. And then they also have them being adopted out, like they kidnap them and they place them in white families so that they lose their cultural identity. Yeah, that's what that movie, the Fringe Dweller, was all about. I saw that when I was a teenager. It bothered me. Yeah, it talked about the harms that happens. What happens when you have an indigenous person and they are forced to live around their oppressor? They act out and they become self-destructive. And that's what today's documentary that I saw. It just doesn't matter. Like, around them, you have a lot of wealth. But in their dwelling, it's beyond poverty. Black America should watch that film. We don't realize how lucky, we're not in, I think what's happening in the state, we're in a mental poverty. But in Australia, they have physical poverty on top of it, mental and physical poverty like you wouldn't believe. And I don't understand why they're so much targeting the native Australian. Now, they're native people, let's say, from New Zealand. New Zealand is an island right beside the country of Australia. And the people there look a little different. The people in New Zealand are a paler color. And I haven't seen to the same, they seem to have at least the illusion that like Hawaii. Like you could share your culture, but that's about it. It's really weird. Yeah, because I lived in Hawaii. The native Hawaiians are also a black-skinned people, like the Australians, native Australians, and they look similar. The native Hawaiian is very similar to the native Australian. And I found like in Hawaii, okay, you can have uh, a Hawaiian, and they do promote in the state of Hawaii, which is a part of the U.S., Hawaiian culture, like the dances, some of the arts and craft. But you know, it's a lot of poverty and pain within the Hawaiian community. But their persona is that of the happy Hawaiian, I put in quotes, the happy Hawaiian. But they're dying in numbers. Um, Severe obesity. You think black Americans are fat? Well, you haven't seen anything if you haven't been to Hawaii. And I'm very sad because they're really a nice people. They were very giving, but they're they're not doing the same type of game as they're doing with the native Australians, like in Hawaii or New Zealand. You see that they're tolerated and even romanticized to a point, but they don't really control the politics. They don't control the politics, but you can play the Hawaiian, the native Hawaiian, the native New Zealander, but you do not control the politics. But for some reason, I don't understand it. If anybody there who's listening understands the politics of Australia and its native population, why are they being targeted so? Such a it's something. Yes, you have Hawaiians there that, that some of them are in uh, Western jobs, living in nicer homes. It seems like when you see, they want you to give up your culture. They want you to give up your culture and to accept the other person's culture. And so I think that's part of the problem. Now, it shouldn't be a problem. I mean, what I'm trying to say is the resistance. I'm starting to think that with the Native Australian, their resistance to want to change, it's what's being used to kill them. And so when I was watching this documentary, I had to turn it off because it reminded me too much of here in America. Now, yeah, the black people here in America, the ones, the more assimilated you are, yes, in general you do better, but you still feeling the sting of oppression, the just how it's set up, like that basketball player. You say anything that offends them, that's it. And the same in my life. You do a particular thing, they're gonna mess you over. They react so quickly. Growing up, they respond almost immediate of what they're gonna do to you. Within a 24-hour period, you're gonna get it. So watching the film today, I feel it. If you don't succumb to me, I'm going to do this to you. The physical violence that's being done upon these people is when it see it's like it's too much for me to see with my naked eyes what's being done to them. I see it very strongly because I know that that's what's really happening here in America. It's looking in the mirror and I couldn't take it. I couldn't take it. I couldn't take it because I see it for what it is. And the YouTuber that I mentioned earlier in this live stream, the spiritual lady, she was saying what it really was. This dream that she had that was representing about that basketball player's actions as a native man, native black man, being cuckolded. And it's about losing your identity. She also talked about that. Yeah. Your heritage. What was that movie about? It's about what your potential heritage could be as a so-called black person. That actually what's being withheld from you is maybe your true origins, and maybe the discrimination that you're getting has nothing to do with your color. It has something to do with your real origins. And you notice that they study origins. Europeans, they always seem to want to know other people's origins. Why is that? Why do they want to know about your origins? Ask me. Ask yourself that. Why is it that? Why is it that they have so many of those DNA companies and they want everybody to do their DNA? Why? Why, when historically they actually are the ones, it seems, that may not like you? Why are they interested in your genetics? Why not just study your own? Well, it's not about their own, it's about yours. And maybe they want to usurp your history and take it as their own and then call you the outsider, calling you the alien. That's what it smells like to me. Yes, good morning, viewer, good morning. Yeah, that's what it smells like to me. They know more about you than you know yourself. Like in The Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Oz. That man, the wizard, knew that that lady had the potential to go home, but he wanted to take her energy. And she had to go through all this stuff. But in the end, she was able to achieve what she wanted. She wanted to go back home. How many of us in the black community, we want to go back home, but we don't know how to get back home? Or where is home? And so now it seems like an awareness. See, they're trying to distract you and make you think that a boy is a girl and a girl is a boy. See, that's part of the distraction. Who are you? Who are you? That's what that film is about. Exploring the potential of where you really could be from, your spiritual home. Why wouldn't they want you to know about your spiritual home? Because it's not their spiritual home. They want people to believe that that is their home and that they have a right to it. But actually, they have gotten it under pretenses. And maybe they're being exposed from who they really are. And that film might be actually exposing that they are not who they say that they are. Even though you have people who belong to their organization who wrote a book about the subject, and they themselves in their own literature says that they are not who they say they are. But what if you are of that Bible? See, when you are able to tell a person that you are a chosen people, then you are brainwashing others to believe that you are better, and that if you try to do something to prevent them from getting what they want, that God will zap them. See that they're using fear and intimidation. Because if, see, a lot of us are under that program, that religious program, especially people of color. How is that in these black communities, these communities of color in the Americas? Why they have so many churches in their community? Why isn't God listening to them? But here in those affluent white neighborhoods and in other people's neighborhood that are affluent, why, with few places of worship, why does God seem to listen to those people more than you, who have more churches and you spend more hours in church? Why does God discriminate? Why is God discriminating against you? Why? Why is God discriminating against those Aboriginals in Australia? Why? Why? This God that they have us pray to is not the creator, but a leech force. It is leeching off of us and never giving back anything positive. And it's designed to do just what it does. Why aren't all these white people, why do they need less amount of places of worship for God to bless them? Why is it required for black people to do so much more to please God? It is not a God. It is an evil. See, by their fruit you know. By their fruit you know. What are you tasting right now? Despair, sadness, anger, fear. We have to get back to basics, people. We have to be able to distinguish a boy from a girl from a boy, up from down, down from up. And we have to be able to determine what is evil and what is good. By their fruits you know. By their fruit you'll know. And there's several games being played here. They're reversing reality for the new system that they want to initiate very, very soon, around the corner even. They want to implement it quickly. And I'm tired and I'm angry at what I'm seeing, because I feel like I don't have any control. And I feel that I'm under the thumb of somebody, like that basketball player. I feel it. And you know, I did a video about a week ago, or maybe a week and a half ago. And you know, they pulled it. Yeah, that's my little doggy. It's okay. And they pulled it. Yeah, they pulled it. And it didn't even indicate that they pulled it. But I went and I looked on my channel and it's not there. They pulled it so quickly. Because see, that's why I'm also angry. Because I see that I don't have freedom. And that what I say is being heavily censored. What I'm saying is being censored. Yeah, I feel like I'm under the thumb. And there's a point where you say to yourself, I don't care anymore. And that I'm going to speak out anyway. Yes, speak out anyway about what's going on. Let people know it's not your imagination. It's not your imagination what you see. There is a control. And this evil force that's playing behind the scenes, I hope they get exposed even more so. You have the power. See, they're sucking off of you. I hope that they get exposed and destroyed completely. Don't ever have a Bible in your community. In my opinion, see, there's natural laws out there. There's natural laws. And I'm reminded about those laws when I went to the park today. Yeah, it was a weird activity. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Wow, I got a revelation about something. Yeah, I saw these birds. And I believe these same birds are like, they were these very dark color birds. At a distance, they look black in color. But then you see that it's not really black, but it had like an iridescence to them. They were massive in number. They were at the Sheep's Meadow Field. Hundreds of them. And they would like they would fly away and then come back and fly away, come back. It caught my attention. And then I walked to deep in the forest. And they were there. The birds were all above, on the treetops. And then they would started screaming. And then they were flying in a flock. And then they went lower on the tree. And it got loud. It sounded like a shout. I've never experienced this before. I was starting to get scared because it was not happening. They were not happy. I think what was happening, there was an invader that because I saw one of them kind of like poke at another one. They looked like the same type of bird. I speculate that it was a territory issue and they were trying to keep their territory. But it was interesting. This was, again, a large cluster of these blackbirds. Someone told me they were what's called the American crow. That's what they told me, the American crow. And I think they might have been the same birds in the sheep meadow, but it caught everybody's attention, and their behavior seemed the same. They acted as a collective. They acted as a collective, and they were dark birds. I think both birds could have been identical. The other ones were way above on the tree, and when I got deep in the forest. And I was told when I asked someone, they said, "Oh, that's the American crow." um, all blackbirds. And they had enough. And they wanted that foreigner, whatever it was, out of its community. They were angry and they said, enough is enough. Enough is enough. I think we all, nature is crying out and saying, it's enough. It's all tying in. Those blackbirds, crows, I was told they were American crows. And see, when it's together, people, when the birds are together, they are powerful. See, they want us divided. People, we have to come together. We came together in the past and we produced great things. The families were together. But then we got outsmarted. See, those other people achieve because they are mass manipulators of deceit. And yes, they have their weapons that they use. But now the weapons they're using is fear. Fear to take. They want to try to take from you. They don't have the legal ground to do what they're doing, but they're becoming cocky. But like those birds that I saw today at the park, they said enough is enough. There are more of us than they. Remember that. It's more of us than they. When are you going to wake up and say enough is enough? Say, I had enough. I had enough. Yeah, and again, religion is a way how they control us. Religion, it is not our religion, how they teach us. Again, how come when that these other communities don't have to have as many places of worship, they don't have to go as often, and why they're prospering, but not you. It's the religion. The religion is put on you to control your anger. Remember, be angry, but sin not, meaning don't lash out. Obey your masters. Why don't they obey theirs? Who are their masters? Start asking yourself these questions. Why does, and I talked about this before, how come your God doesn't love you the same way how those other people? You got to ask yourself that question. There's you're cursed because the curse of Ham. Whereas we learned, as I showed you, was that about 3 videos ago, I shared a video, a live stream about, what is that now? About the Talmud. And I showed in their book that even in that book, it is saying that Shem and Ham were both black. But see, they also teach in the Talmud somewhere else, or some scripture of theirs, or books of theirs, literature of theirs, that you are cursed by your color, that Noah cursed your color. But it turns out that both Shem and Ham were both black people, and that Japheth was white. Well, if you have the modern day person of this particular religion, and they are white, so how could they be a Shemite or even a Hamite? They are Japheth, and they are controlling you. They are controlling you, people. They are controlling you. They're controlling your bank. Your teachers. Who teaches your little kids? Um, you need a lawyer. Who are your lawyers? Who are your doctors? A lot of things are controlled by other people and not you. They control everything you do. Everything. And when you expose them, and when you start to awaken, like that basketball player, and he just put a picture up. That's all he did. He didn't want, it's like they're saying, how dare you put that picture up? I know what that picture represents. And I don't want you to waken up. I want you to be asleep. I don't want you to know what we're doing behind your back. How dare you want to wake up other black people? And so they use the removal of money from you in stages. See, it just goes to show you their lack of love. And if God is true, and if God doesn't like ugly, then why are they acting ugly against you? And why are they prospering? Because, see, their God is something else. Their God is not the God of the Bible. They are not about the Creator. They are about the devil. They are about the devil's deeds. But then they want people to think that they are chosen of God. They put themselves in the picture. They inserted themselves in the book. Because, see, we have other people who claim to be of a particular religion, but why aren't they flourishing? Because they don't belong to the same group. You have people who work behind the scenes who are controlling the planet. And somehow in this planet, they inserted themselves in this planet. And they are mad. And they've learned over time. See, they didn't start off rich. They started out with nothing, but what they are a master at, they are a master of deception and trickery. Yes, they are very sly. Has nothing to do with intelligence either. Intelligence and sneakiness are two separate things. In fact, someone taught me that what you need to be successful, you need that sneakiness. And you just hire smart people. Sneakiness doesn't mean smart. Sneakiness is just a means of control by deception. And you have people who are intelligent, meaning the ability to learn things or to do things, but they're not like people who are motivated by deception. And these deceivers could implant itself around people who are highly intelligent and get the dirty deeds done through them. They do the dirty deed through intelligent people. Intelligence does not mean that you're wise either. Intelligence is the ability to learn, to function, but you may not have any common sense. Where you have people who are so stealth, they perceive the world differently. They perceive the world through perversions of distorting. If something is smooth, they want to make it rough. If something is rough, they want to make it smooth. It's just a perversion of their perception. And the goal is to destroy you. But they seem to really have a hatred for the black man, especially. They don't like black women either. But they especially hate the black man. Yes, there is discrimination in this planet. When you really start to see, like, I'm born and raised here in New York City, and you know they very really have black men, straight black men, sitting next to a white man or white woman. They're separate, but it seems like they only are near the black man if he's a homosexual type. Yeah, if they can use you, they will. And I'm not saying that everybody of a particular race or belief system is evil. I am not saying that. They work through anything. My little doggie. Sometimes, yeah, my little dog is right next to me. Sometimes I think she's upset, or she might be having a bad dream. So I just try to get her out of it, you know? Poor baby. Yeah, she had a 13th birthday. Oh, yes, it's just midnight, past midnight now. Yeah, so that's what I'm facing right now. I feel the anger and the sadness, seeing what was under the rainbow flag was quite upsetting. And then I saw those birds that were fighting. Yeah, it's a natural order. That's what I was going to say. It's a natural order of things. See, in nature, when there is an imbalance, the imbalance is responded immediately. It is responded immediately and corrected right away with as minimal amount of damage. That's what I learned today. And that blacks or indigenous people, like the Australian, Native Australian, you need to stay together. And when an intruder comes into your home, respond together and with force and with aim and with few damages. That's what has to be done. And they have common sense. If something foreign is coming in, and sometimes what is foreign can look like you. Because I was looking and I didn't see anything what was going on. You didn't see like something really different. They were all, to me, an outsider, looked like the same birds. But something upset them. And they didn't stop until it was reconciled. See, nature would tell you things. Those of you who have access to nature, start going into nature and get reacquainted. This is your land, Native people. Native people, you are of the land. Places that are not about the land, they're the one that's destroying it. You have rich people who are destroying the planet. Don't they realize that they would die too in the end? Don't they realize that? Or maybe they live in those bunkers. They got a bunker. I don't know. But something doesn't sit right. It's not right. And so I'm sad about them targeting little babies and the reminder that I too am an indigenous person on this planet. And I think the sadness that um, I had to, assimilate. And I don't want to compromise anymore. I don't want to. I don't want to go out my way. I don't want to make you happy. I want to make myself happy. I want to live for me. I don't want to live for you. And when I'm seeing the different things that are attached to me, see, I didn't always know, I talked about this. I didn't know that certain attachments were on me until I had gotten a copy of my school records. And when I started to see, when I saw my birth certificate, and when I saw who my early teachers by name, and then the companies I worked for, and then the doctors and the landlords, I said to myself, oh my God. And yes, I did get attacked once. I told you multiple times about the restaurant incident. Yes, you are being monitored. I know it sounds weird, but you are being monitored. You could be in a restaurant. What happened to me? Someone encouraged, hey, let's go out. I was just going to stay home. I go with this person to a restaurant, and I was just talking about a subject about the specifically at that point, it was about the O negative blood. And they didn't want me to talk about it, who it was. See that? I upset somebody. People who are hearing. I upset somebody who was listening to my conversation with this person, and they got offended because I was talking about O negative blood. And they didn't like it. And they did certain things to me, to my body. And I had to go to the hospital. Never happened to me before. And so you can't really say too much because it sounds crazy. Even though there are patented devices, devices that are patented by the government, and that they are becoming weaponized, used against a population, again, to control and influence. And that happened to me in 2018. And when I think of it, and reminded when I saw my school records and when I saw my birth certificate, who was on it, and who do you live under? I realized that some of us are controlled from the womb. Some of us are controlled from the womb. And it was a wake-up call. And a wake-up call when I saw the film, the documentary today on the indigenous Aborigine, indigenous Australian, or to hear that YouTuber talk about the dream that she had representing the basketball player who just had a photo on his social media and him being attacked. We are being attacked, and I had enough. I had enough. And I'm angry, and I talk to my higher power right now and ask for guidance, for deliverance, that I deliver myself. I'm not going to wait for some the, the person in the Bible to rescue me. That's the problem of us. We're waiting for somebody else to deliver us. Deliver yourself. Deliver yourself. I hope you're hearing me right now. I'm giving important information. We need to deliver ourselves from this evil. And they don't seem to back off. They're not backing off. They are a greedy, self-entitled piece of poo-poo. They are stealth, sneaky, conniving, dishonest, and unnatural. And they are attaching themselves to the natural man and woman out there, disguising themselves, infiltrating our communities to destruction. It's time to wake up. It's time to say enough is enough. Enough is enough. If you have a community, get in part of that community. If you don't have a community, ask to find a community or how to live independently and in safety. Be a part of nature. Don't give up your natural man and woman. Don't give it up. They are jealous of you. They're envious of you. And as simple as talking about blood type is offensive to them. They need a beat down. That's what they need. They need a beat down, someone who can spar with them on their level and give them a beat down that they deserve. They need to get off of this, get out of our planet and bother, be with themselves. See, they don't like themselves. They don't like themselves, but they want to be around you because, see, they're jealous of you. You're a fucking jealous person. You are a jealous individual. May you receive the full award that you deserve. Or I should say reward. You deserve nothing. Nothing of value. You are planting death, and that's what you're going to get. You get what you give. And since you are given death, that is your lot. You indigenous people out there, awake. Awake. And start saying no when you can. They want you to remove your natural beauty. And again, what is beauty depends on, different communities have their own representation of what is beauty. Ladies, your strength is in your beauty and your grace. Keep it to win this fight. You men, your beauty is in your strength and your tenacity. Don't give that up. Don't give that up. Protect your children. Start noticing and to observe what they're teaching your children, and purge out those defects that are running your community, that are sucking your money out. Yeah, the older that I get, the more evil I see out there, or people exploiting other people's naivety. And they are funneling money out from your community and have the nerve to call you poor and dirty when they're the ones that are stealing your money and feeding their own kids with your money. And when I see that, when I see that, I become angry. And it's not being a bigot. When you see evil, you react. They don't think that anybody sees, but we see. They're so cocky. May they be exposed. May our blindfold be removed and action be done quickly and effectively to remove that evil. Yeah, see, I've been on now for 136 minutes. Yeah, I had to get off this stuff that's on my chest. It's hard to sleep these days. Yeah, it's hard to sleep because it's evil around us. And they're bullying us. And they're spitting in your face. And then they lie and tell you that it's raining. Well, I know it's not raining. I know what's happening. And we're waking up. May we wake up. I speak words of love and peace upon all natural beings. Peace, love, and harmony and wellness be unto you. Love your children. Embrace the natural force of nature. It is a great teacher and a comforter. Okay? Peace, love, and joy to us all. Thank you.